Okay, so now we're going to talk just a little bit more in depth, but still generally about catabolic reactions. We'll do anabolic reactions in just a minute. But catabolic reactions are organized in stages. So your body doesn't just take one big molecule of a fat, let's say, and break all of it down into its smallest parts just in one fell swoop. But there's stages to it. So the first stage is called stage 1, digestion and hydrolysis. So you're going to take your large biomolecules and break them into smaller kind of chunks so that they can enter the bloodstream and move around the body. So for example, proteins are going to be broken down into amino acids so that they can be transported easier and used where they need to be used. Polysaccharides are going to be turned into maybe disaccharides, monosaccharides, so smaller saccharides in general. And then lipids also could be broken down into fatty acids to be transported. So that's stage 1 is kind of big to not quite as big, or maybe polymer to monomer. Stage 2 is going to be degradation. Can't say that. That one's a hard one. I always switch up the G and the D. So you're going to degrade molecules into molecules of only 2 or 3 carbons. So for example, glucose would undergo glycolysis, make pyruvate, which is a very small, it's only, I think, 3 carbons long. Or amino acids are going to undergo transamination reactions to get to some of these other things. But in general, stage 2 is just going to be breaking down larger molecules into 2 or 3 carbon compounds. And the last stage is called oxidation. So we know what oxidation is. We've seen that a few different times before. These small molecules of 2 or 3 carbon atoms are going to then go through the citric acid cycle. So this is actually something we're going to look at in depth in a couple sections, I believe. And through that citric acid cycle, you fully oxidize. So you're going to break all of the bonds, and pretty much everything is going to turn into all the carbons and oxygens will end up being turned into carbon dioxide. That would then, as you see here, the carbon dioxide formed in the oxidation of our different things we eat or use to fuel our body, then leaves, we breathe it out, and undergoes photosynthesis. So it's also important just to note where these processes happen. So stage 1 and stage 2 will happen throughout your cells. There's different places that each type of biomolecule gets degraded in stage 1 and stage 2, but everything in this green box is going to be what happens in the mitochondrion. So, wrong one. Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, is going to be where this last part, or stage 3, and all of these oxidation processes occur. So just a little bit of a picture of where all of this stuff happens. So this is your normal, very typical picture of a cell. And then remember, you have these little, little school buses floating around. Those are the mitochondria. And this is where that last part of the catabolic cycle happen, or the catabolic reactions happen, the third stage. And then down here, you'll see all of the different organelles in a cell and what they would do in terms of metabolism, what their jobs are. But we're not going to go through these individually.